Hi guys, I hope you're all having a lovely week. So today I'm going to be speaking about my family dynamics. So kind of how it was while we were still with our parents, and how it kind of changed and progressed as we went into care and as I came out of the care system. So this is a little bit of a heavy sort of topic, but I'm going to try and keep it as light as possible. Um, so when we were home with our biological parents, we were all very close. I think that was mainly due to the kind of survival mode that we were all in, looking out for each other at home, because obviously the situation wasn't great. And we never knew kind of what would happen on a day to day basis. Our dad wasn't very predictable, and he was a very angry man, so anything could have triggered him. So I was kind of the one that kind of looked out for my younger brothers and sisters. I was in a very parental role, um, and I guess the night that we were taken, that kind of showed as we all tried to kind of, protect each other from the guards that came to take us from our home. Um, that changed as we went into the care system, because obviously we were all separated, and I think for me I got a lot of separation anxiety, because I felt as though my only purpose had kind of gone in life because I had no one to take care of. I was also very worried about my brothers and sisters being alone in new environments with strange people, um, and the anxiety and stress of the situation kind of caused tension between me and my sister as we were still together in the beginning, and obviously my dad's influence also kind of affected my relationship with my brothers and sisters very negatively. um and then once me and my sister were separated, we used to be really really close when we lived at home, but obviously going into the care system, being separated, and the influence of my dad on the situation, we kind of grew apart, and our relationship hasn't really gotten back to what it used to be, and I don't think it ever will. I think our relationships all kind of downgraded because we all drifted apart. And I think for me particularly, I was very maternal towards all of my brothers and sisters, and I still am. So when we were first separated, I was so anxious about them and so anxious about my own role, because I had nobody there to take care of, and I was all on my own. Um, but I think eventually I got used to being on my own and not having to take care of somebody else and just being a normal teenager. And I think I quite enjoyed that, because there was nobody else to kind of have to think of all of the time, before myself. Um, and we didn't get to see each other very much either, and I think that played a major role in how we drifted apart. When you're in care, there is a process called Access, which is basically organized by social workers so that you can see your family. So, social worker will accompany each sibling to a specific location where we all just get to see each other, supervised. But that would be organized once a month. Um, Sometimes it might not even happen when it's supposed to. Um, and it's such an unfamiliar kind of environment to be seeing your siblings. You don't get to be a proper family, and you don't get to act like a proper family because you're constantly surrounded by people. You're never in your own space. You're always being watched by your social workers. And I think a lot of the kind of trauma of being in care wasn't being addressed, so it kind of came out when we saw each other. Access is definitely one aspect of the care system that really needs to be worked on. It needs to be a constant thing that children in care have to look forward to, because sometimes it can be organized and then it cannot happen because a social worker has something else to do, which can really be stressful for children in care. Um, we really get that one chance a month to see our families and be able to spend time with them. So it's an extremely important thing in a child's life. And I definitely think that more resources and funding and time needs to be put into organising proper, adequate services that allow children in care to see their families in suitable environments as well. Um, Now, my family dynamics with my parents were a bit different. So I was never really that close to my mom. We never had the normal relationship that you might think of. Um, my mother didn't know English, and we grew up kind of speaking a lot of English when we came here, so it was hard to communicate with my mom. And she was always a very quiet person as well. She never kind of stood up for us or for herself against my dad. So my dad pretty much dominated the household while she kind of cooked and cleaned. She was very much a timid housewife. And she also didn't attempt to build any relationships with us. She wouldn't really like talk to us in the motherly way, or she wasn't as affectionate as maybe I would have hoped her to be. And I guess that's something I really missed out on and really wish that I had had in my life, is a proper relationship with my mom. And once we came into the care system, it kind of was the same, that she kind of let my dad control everything, and that was it. And I have not since spoken to her or know where she is. So I guess sometimes that does upset me that I can't have my mom in my life, because I do love her despite everything. At the end of the day, it wasn't her fault. I do believe that my dad was kind of at fault for most of that had happened to us. Um, and my relationship with my dad again is was completely different. Um, I grew up as a daddy's girl because I knew no different. The way that we grew up and the abuse that was going on was normal to us. Because we had never seen any different. Um, and I had really loved and idolized my dad. Um, and sometimes I wish that he had been a different type of parent. Um, or that he would have taken the help when we had come into the care system, so that maybe we could have had a proper family. Um, but at the end of the day, that's the man that he was. And once we came into the care system, he kind of placed all of his anger on us and took the situation out on us as kids. Um, he blamed us for everything that was happening, and it was a lot of kind of emotional abuse that happened during the access with our parents. Um, and eventually, when I had realized that my dad did have issues and he was mentally ill, because he is a narcissist, and he refused to take the help, I kind of realized that it wasn't right, and that he couldn't act the way he was acting, and treat us the way he was treating us. Um, but he didn't like that. He didn't like the fact that us as his kids didn't stay loyal and honor him. So he had decided to punish us one last time. Um, and he basically stopped seeing us. So that was the last time that our parents saw us. It didn't end very well. Um, but and obviously we haven't heard from them since, or know of where they are since. It was a kind of abandonment at the time. Um, But yeah, those were kind of my dynamics in and out of care. Um, Definitely my relationships with my brothers and sisters are getting better now as I'm getting older and as we're all getting older. And I hope that in the future we can really improve them and have really strong bonds like we used to. As for my relationships with my parents, can't really tell you much about that or where that's gonna go. I really don't think that I may ever see them again or speak to them again. Um, and I don't really know how I feel about that because obviously everything that had happened, I still have good memories from being home, and I just kind of wish that the good memories could have overshadowed the bad, and that I could have had the family and the parents that most people do. Um, but I did gain a lot being in the care system. I did gain another family, and I did gain a mom who has a much better relationship with me and actually, treats me like a daughter. Um, but yeah, thank you guys for listening and thank you for all your support. I apologize for it being a very heavy topic, but if anybody relates or anybody needs someone to speak to at all, you know where I am. You can always send me a message. Um, and I will see you guys next week. Thank you so much.